Welcome back to the discussion. We are broadcasting live from Nedbank stand here at Nampo, Bothaville. In this segment, we are talking about innovation and technology. And agriculture is up against an almost insurmountable task, producing enough food for a growing population with diminishing resources that are going to decline at an increasing rate due to uh, pressures from all sides. But technology is there as an incredible tool and a resource to help us achieve this. One of the disruptive innovations making waves at the moment is Web 3.0 technologies, particularly blockchain and smart contracts. And they hold significant promise for revolutionizing the agricultural sector, offering solutions for traceability, transparency, and efficiency. And of course, by decentralizing data ownership and fostering peer-to-peer interactions, Web 3.0 can empower farmers, improve food supply chains, and promote sustainable practices. Here to tell us a little bit more about this is Gideon Rousseau, Executive for Web3 Enablement at Nedbank, and Kobus de Bruin, Head of Client Value Propositions for Agriculture at Nedbank Commercial Banking. Thank you both and welcome to the conversation.
Thanks, Hadley.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent. Gideon, let's start off with you. You're at the coalface of these new technologies that are already changing the way we do business. And we know that the technology is advancing at increasingly rapid rates. So could you give us a snapshot of how this technology and its evolution creates value for Nedbank?
I think at this stage, there's a number of things that we're seeing already. There's a lot of clients of Nedbank that are looking for different kinds of payment services, things that are not traditionally available within the banking industry. And blockchain as a technology and Web3 and the whole philosophy around it is something that potentially has the ability to sort of change a huge amount of the way that we're doing business, enabling business to do a lot more cost effective and more transparent type of business activities with each other. And what we're seeing is a lot of clients starting to reach out to us because of the work that we're doing, because of the research, because of the testing that we're doing in this space, to sort of form part of the ecosystem, part of a context to help us actually figure out what this new world is going to look like and how that's going to function. I think how that translates into agri-space at the end of the day is that there's a lot of different sizes of farmers and businesses and entities within the ecosystem. And I think generally the financial services that we have available in traditional banking are well geared up to sort of deal with the big and the formal sort of banking or the formal sort of agriculture sort of industry. But the moment you start looking at less sophisticated farmers and small scale farmers, it becomes very difficult to get access to proper financial services and structures. And I think one of the things that blockchain is going to make possible for us is to create the context where financial services, whether it's something that you offer to small farmers or to large farmers or small scale businesses, the same models, the same principles can effectively be applied to all sizes of businesses, and it becomes something that you can then do a lot more cost effective. So I think the way that we as banks think about business, the way we think about financing, how we can play a role in this context of agriculture to improve the ability to sort of meet the food demands in the future is going to make a big difference.
Kobus, give us some more insights into why integrated technology solutions are likely to be such a game changer for agribusinesses.
Yeah, only I think if you if you look at agriculture, you know, any game changer is always a good solution for agriculture. You know, agriculture is an early adopter of technology, and the industry is open to new technology. So if you look at agriculture, and you look at the value chain and your process, you've got many trading taking place in agriculture. So you get your production inputs, which you can see as an asset in agriculture. You get machinery, equipment, which you can see as an asset. And then also get long-term assets properties, which is also an asset. Now, those assets are traded manually, if we can call it that way. And, you know, it's kind of like traded in an old-fashioned way. Now, if you look at Web 3.0 and you look at that abilities, blockchain, there's opportunities to take those assets, digitize those assets, and then trade differently with those assets. So if you have that ability, it opens a new world for agriculture, how to trade in the future. And that future is here. And that ability to do what I just mentioned is already there. So just imagine how you can do it. And then not only the assets, the payment process, that payment solution. We think we have advanced solutions now. The future is going to unlock significant, much better technology. And the way we do payment solutions will totally be different. It will be on a different platforms. And agriculture will be a good industry to do it in.
Gideon, technology is already changing how businesses view financial services, giving smaller communities access to markets, reach to financial products that they couldn't access before. Tell us a little bit more about how we're seeing that evolution happen.
I think the best thing that I can do to sort of explain the context around it is to try and tie back to a project that I'm aware of that we did at my previous employer, um, where we had a project team of probably about 20-25 people that worked with a collective of farmers in East Africa, and there was a few hundred farmers in the context there. Each were very small pieces of land, less than a hectare of land. And the project aimed to sort of prove the concept of how you can support the collective in that context, how you can, as a bank, provide financing to the farmers in that construct to get access to good quality seed, how they can get access to fertilizer for the soil. And then because there's a formal institution like a bank involved in a context, how they can then support the ecosystem to connect that collective of farmers to formal off-takers of the produce from those farming communities, in the form of breweries or any other sort of food producers or processing companies. And the concept was proven quite successfully. But there were some challenges. So one of the challenges that you face in the context is that there was still problems in terms of getting access to mechanical equipment to do certain things. So people still had to farm and do everything on the farming sort of context by hand, which is fine if you sort of have to farm on a 1 hectare piece of land. You can maybe get away from it, but there's things that you can do better if you are able to mechanize it. Then one thing that you couldn't prevent and sort of deal with in a context is that a bunch of elephants came into sort of the area and destroyed sort of a few farmers' crops. And as a result of that, those farmers had failed harvests and could not repay the loans and constructs around it. And because there weren't insurance structures, because there weren't structures to sort of deal with that scenario, there was a problem in that sort of context. Then you've got a context where the whole scalability of this thing. I mean, we had a project team of 25 people that looked at how to support this thing, and because of those 25 people being actively involved in context, it worked. But those 25 people can't scale it to sort of make the same solution available to 1,000 or 2,000 collective sort of scenarios. And I think that is where blockchain becomes quite a very interesting sort of construct. You can connect the technologies, you can connect the ecosystem, all the data of all of the different farmers and what's happening on their fields. You can connect to soil sampling, you can connect it to satellite surveillance, you can connect it to all of these sources of information that then enables the bank to start creating sophisticated solutions. You can start building risk management capabilities. We can start looking at how you can actually introduce insurance into that sort of construct. You can actually identify when there's a bunch of animals coming into your area, and you can maybe sort of do something to sort of avoid the impact of and redirect the elephant somewhere to avoid the damage that it causes. So there's a lot of these type of things that blockchain can actually enable to sort of do, and it enables the bank then to make financial services available. And because you've got access to so much more information, the satellite surveillance, the soil sampling, it gives you a view of the quality of crops that's going to come from the context. You have a mechanism of managing facilities and things that you make available into that ecosystem. You help that ecosystem to grow, and then in the same way you can connect them to producers that need the crops for their processes, and finance the processes and actually manage the supply chain construct around it, further eliminating a lot of risk in the context. So I think we as a bank have a huge role that we can play in this context to just help the creation of these things using the technology and actually just creating a place where we can help the creation of these ecosystems to sort of enable things like that to just flourish.
It's an incredibly exciting space. We look forward to hearing more about you. Thank you so much, Kobus. Thank you, Gideon, for talking to us about this. And I'm sure it's something that is going to develop at a rapid pace like all the other technology
It
out
will.
there. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
Annelie.
sticking with us. Stay with us. After this, we're going to be talking about e-commerce. So don't go away.